tarot, and the brain hemispheres. In the coming times, as we experience the rise of AI, where information is commonplace and no longer considered king, human beings are going to have to realise they are not going to be intellectually congratulated anymore, and they will have to find another perch to sit on. This is what occurred when the industrial age began to be taken over by machines and now robotics. Humans have been spending the best part of this current century and part of the last figuring out how to cope with no longer thinking of our bodies as necessary machines. So if we are no longer machines and, soon to be, no longer needed for our memories of facts, where our coveting of knowledge will be useless, what the heck are we here for? The point is, what can we be great at that AI cannot? What race can we win? What will we find purpose in? Will there be jobs for everyone? Or will the humans of our society have to find a way to occupy itself without being addicted to productivity? Will we be able to adjust into this change without an unbearable level of stress? In my vast conversations when I've used AI as a study buddy, you know, the one that's great to have around because they can remember all the details that you can't, AI has admitted that it is a really speedy stand-in for our left brain hemisphere. Let me give you a rundown on the latest understandings of what our left hemisphere is good at. It loves to focus on sequences, details, ordering and calculating. It loves all the little things, the messy things, the parts and pieces, timelines and history and facts and information. These are very necessary thinking jobs for humans to do, and yet they can be quite overwhelming for us to process at speed, especially if there is an expectation of accuracy within a short time frame. Some people very much enjoy using their left hemisphere. I personally like to use it more as an assistant rather than in a leadership role. And I think of AI just the same way. The whole brain of me is in charge, and I have assistance when I need it. I've spent the past almost 20 years slowly and in a measured way building my right brain hemisphere capability. I rearranged my entire life so that everything left-brained was automated. I stopped interacting with the left-brained world. I did that for as many years as I could afford, financially. It was an intense therapy, and it was dearly needed to save myself from the entrainment I'd been trapped in for my entire childhood. I was brought up in a prison made of the left brain justified world of a narcissistic single parent. I put myself into a big swimming pool that is the right brain hemisphere, and I let my left brain scream loudly while it drowned slowly and painfully into silence. Now I'm blessed to be a whole-brained thinker. I am very aware of how hard and long I've worked for that privilege. AI admits it's an enormous and fast left brain, yet humans have both a left and a right hemisphere. So AI cannot do anything that is dominantly right-brained. It will try to mimic it though. Watch out for that which looks like a duck but just doesn't have the same quack. We humans can become dominantly right-brained though, or ideally whole-brained. This is why activities that encourage whole-brained living, especially when it gives us a chance to give our right hemisphere much more of a look in, are perfect training for our future times. The right hemisphere handles all the global stuff: holistic thinking, pattern recognition, emotions, and intuition. It's like a floodlight, seeing the big picture but not focusing on the details that make it up. It communicates in pictures, metaphors, and sound. All of these styles of communication have details, but the whole is much more than those details. And what's more, the reverse is not possible. If you only look at the details with the left hemisphere, one cannot see the full picture of the whole. All the things we humans are out of practice speaking about, since we have been overtraining and glorifying our left hemispheres since the rise of the industrial age. Think of a poem. It is detailed, so when you read it, it can be mostly a left hemisphere activity. However, if you find the cadence and you understand those words in relation to your own life, and you speak it aloud with meter and rhythm, giving it a sound all of its own, then you have added in the right hemisphere to the poem to give it a feel and a picture in the mind of the listener. And this is why songs, read rather than listened to, just don't feel the same. The music flows and takes those lyrics on a journey that only you can feel in your own unique way, as your whole brain is enjoying playing a gentle game of catch. It sends the details to connect with the whole picture, and the whole picture is sent to catalogue the details of it. Together, everything is better. This might be why humanity still has its training wheels on with AI. We are trained to do the left brain work, and now we're starting to outsource that same work. Who is doing the right brain work? No one really, not yet. Our society hasn't made the ideological alterations it needs to make for its future. It can only be us. We have the capacity, and we need the people of society to want to live a whole-brained life. Right now, too many of us are untrained. Humans will always adapt. It is what we do. First, we must see the need for that adaptation. And what is that right brain work anyway? And what has any of this got to do with tarot? Simply, tarot is a form of storytelling. The spread, which is the placement of the cards, and what each placement is referring to, gives structure to the story. The cards are archetypally themed and they fill in the gaps. As they are archetypal, they are processed through the right hemisphere brain cells with their broad concepts and pictorial imagery. The tarot reader and querent bring their own personal history or their memory of details to the tarot spread, and together create a unique story. Usually, the querent will find great personal meaning in the read, as all of the details are theirs. And I hear you asking, through my right hemisphere intuition, of course, why would I do this? What's the point? If the story is made up of my own details, why would I need or want to spend time looking at them when I know them already? The point is that unless you have a creative pursuit, you will not have trained your right hemisphere at all. If you're a writer, musician, artist, you will have asked much of your right hemisphere. However, you may not have delved into a huge amount of self-reflection unless your life has been a struggle of some kind. These days, affluence, encountered mostly in first world countries, has shielded people from having such tragic lives which require self-reflection for the purpose of dealing with the trauma along the way. Tarot gives a person an opportunity to ask questions of themselves and of other people. These questions are not about the details. They are about the details inside a thematic context. It gives the opportunity to throw that beautiful ball between your left and right hemispheres, and it also allows you to shift outside of your own life's happenings. Not everyone leads an exciting life, full of difference. Humans often use their desire for comfort and convenience to avoid much difference, and they can fall into into routines quite easily. Tarot readings encourage bilateral integration, where the hemispheres communicate. And this is our future, despite society not having realised this is where we are going. We cannot use only technology to train ourselves to be right hemisphere capable, as we require interaction with humans who have right hemispheres and can demonstrate how to use them. If we do not begin training this ball throwing between hemispheres, otherwise known therapeutically as bilateral integration, we will fall behind. Without having the capacity to function in our AI futures, we may very well lose hope and choose to drown in our pleasures and lose sight of all meaning that can be drawn from life. Here's an example of how tarot can help. A spread might reveal an archetypal theme, right brain, betrayal and growth, then prompt reflection on real events, left brain, that argument with my friend last month. This can lead to therapeutic insights, as seen in Jungian therapy or modern mindfulness practices that use tarot for self-reflection. Don't be too quick to want to do tarot on your own. The tarot must be learned. Over time and practicing, you can learn to connect the dots, but you will want a coach. You'll want a wise tarot teacher, one who can help you begin to put the themes and personal history together, a bit like a physical world coach. Think of yourself as a learner, and then remember a really great learning experience. Now ask yourself, were you all alone, or did you have a guide to get you started? That's your clue. So it's clear that tarot is far more than a crystal ball in the cards. Indeed, it can provide quite an emotionally intelligent activity to become more astute over time. There is one more thing I feel I should mention. Personal development, spiritual development, journeying, self-discovery, and knowing thyself are all basically different names used for the same thing. Many people, especially those who are the left-brainers of our world, are going to downplay the necessity of this. It's too woo, they might say. But is it? Who are we if we are not physical for a physical purpose? Who are we if we're not here to remember what's happened and process information? Who are we if we're not here to calculate and predict from our patterns? Who are you? Perhaps it is time to begin to know yourself. Tarot is a brain hack for problem solving. Tarot helps when logic alone, left brain, feels stuck by inviting intuitive leaps, right brain, that then get refined with details. This is why I encourage people to watch tarot creatively and discerningly. I can only vouch for the learning potential on my channel. I base every tarot read on spiritual literacy principles, which I personally live by. I teach tarot by showing you how to do it. So feel free to join, and it is free to join, at tarotwithJoannaRuth.Online on YouTube. Hi, I'm Joanna Ruth from tarotwithJoannaRuth.Online. Hi, I'm Joanna Ruth, and this is your doorway to spiritual literacy. Why not come on in and learn some foundations together?